Wondering if the Investigator play kit from Lovevery is worth it? Today, I'll be sharing the cost of this play kit compared to individual items on Amazon that are comparable, as well as my daughter's actual experience playing with these items for the last 4 or 5 months now. If you guys are new here, my name is Rachel. I have been reviewing all of Lovevery's play kits, soon to start reviewing Monty's kids play kits because I just had a baby. So make sure to go back, check out all those past Lovevery ones, and hit that notification subscribe button if you guys are interested in Monty kids. Let's jump into the Investigator play kit. One of the big ticket items in this play kit is the twist and pivot puzzle. So what's nice about this one is it's a fun twist on a traditional peg puzzle in that kind of like a corkscrew peg. You have this one that has a couple different circle textures, and then you have these little square ones. And essentially what your child has to do, manipulate them by pivoting and twisting to get them all the way down the puzzle. This works a ton of fine motor skills, problem solving, and has been my daughter's favorite puzzle in like a year. I will say though, if it is set up completed on her play shelf, she won't touch it. I use this little box that came, I think it came in this Lovevery play kit, it may have come in another. Anytime they give you little boxes like this, I save them because I just put the pieces in the puzzle here, and this is how I put it on her play shelf. So it's undone. She goes and plays with it. I'm still working with her on resetting the puzzle when she's finished before putting it back on her play shelf. I honestly cannot remember how long this took her to master at this point. I know I did have to model it for her and she really worked at it for a little while, but she has had so much fun with it. I introduced this to her about a month or two before the recommended age, so it definitely works if you did want to get it sooner rather than later. As far as Amazon dupes, there's nothing exactly like Lovevery's, but there is a puzzle from Hape that costs about $20 that is fairly similar. The big difference is all 4 of their pegs are more like this static, let's call it tree branch arms, if you will. 4 different puzzle pieces. You also get a jigsaw puzzle within the actual peg puzzle. I will leave a link to that as well as all the other dupes and the Lovevery play kit in the description box below. The next item is the match and tap hammer box. It works hand-eye coordination, fine motor skills, color matching, lots of good things here. It comes with a handful of sheets that have back and front images on them, and you can either lay it directly onto the base here or stick it into this ridge here and have your toddler match the pattern down below. Currently, my toddler has just been doing it where she puts the sheet directly on and then the top of the box slides off, so it's a nice storage for the toy as well. What I also taught my daughter to do is flip this upside down when she either uses her hand to push the pegs back out while this is sitting on top of the box, so they go right back in, or she'll hammer them back out. There's another little fine motor activity in this, in that this little green panel here has ridges off to the side, and those slide directly into the box here to stabilize it. So that in itself is a nice little fine motor skill. When she goes to flip it back over, she has a hard time getting it back into that ridge because you have to put it in only one way. There is this kind of ridge here where if she tries to put that side in first, it won't work. What she'll do a lot of the time is she'll pull it out and then just flip it and have it sitting on top of the box like this, because that ridge ends up creating a lip over the top of the box, and this ends up becoming a very realistic activity because she has to hold the green panel in place while hammering. So there's like a lot of different things happening inside of this, and I did not find anything quite like it. In terms of Amazon dupes, I did find this set from Educational Insights, which costs about $30, and it comes with both the hammer as well as screws and a screwdriver. So that's the first big difference. And then another big difference is you don't get that same functionality in the top side panel I was talking about, so you lose out on some of that realisticness of holding it in place, as well as that additional fine motor activity of sliding it into the ridge. Now, as far as how my daughter actually enjoyed this activity, she loved it. She goes back to it every single week that it's been on her play shelf. I haven't taken it off, I think, in like 2 months. You can easily set it up, take it out herself, reset it herself. It's a very independent activity. I'm a big fan of it. She's a big fan of it. Definitely a winner. The next item is the Liquid Lab, which is a great early STEM activity that I personally think we'll get a ton more use out of as my toddler gets a little bit older. I think it's a little bit misplaced in the 2 to 3 year old play kit range, but we still have gotten some use out of it. Parents are going to need to be hands-on. Younger side of things, it is a good practice in pouring, especially the different types of lips of the different containers. But if I am totally honest, my daughter's favorite thing to do with these was to just drink out of them. If you guys caught the Lovevery, the Enthusiast Play Kit review, you saw it comes with kind of like a tea set. And for her, when she saw this on the heels of a tea set, she just thought this was another type of tea set. And then she would pour the water into the white tray and call it her swimming pool, where she would then take these little animal figurines that came in one of the last Lovevery Play Kit from 1 to 2 years old, I believe it was, and she would just put them in the swimming pool and have them go swimming. So that was her primary way of playing with this independently. As far as activities parents can set up with this, there's really a ton. You could put primary colors into each cylinder, so you could put blue water in one container, yellow water into another, and red water into another, and give them a few different bowls and have them practice mixing the different colors in the bowls to see what secondary colors they come up with and combine. My daughter loves fizzy foam, so what we did was I added a little bit of baking soda and some vinegar to the water solutions, and we just had some fun explosions. I think it's great that they're learning the transfer of volume concept between these containers. As far as Amazon dupes, you can get sets of beakers and cylinders for like $10 that are like 16 pieces, but I personally would recommend getting this kids science set. It costs $15. It's just a more complete science kit. So that would be my pick. The next item is this cute little countdown timer, which is probably my daughter's favorite item in this play kit, so much so that she even has brought it with her to the park to show all of her friends. So essentially, the first 5 minutes, each minute is marked with its own color, and then after that, each 5-minute increment is marked by another color. So there's a nice visual cue for them as the time starts to count down. We move closer and closer to red. Once it gets all the way done, it beeps. We're big fans of this. She can set it herself. We use timers a lot, especially to keep bedtime going on routine, or if my daughter is just not wanting to go to the next transitional thing. So like if we're trying to get out the door in the morning and she just wants to play, we'll say, how much longer do you want to play? She pretty much always says 2 minutes. So we just set the timer for 2 minutes, it beeps, and she's good to go. It gives toddlers that sense of control and order that really can help move things along much, much, much more seamlessly. As far as Amazon dupes, I did find one that is pretty similar to Lovevery's. It costs $24. It has a nice added feature that aside from having a stand, how these have little legs, the back is also magnetic, so you can stick it on the fridge, and it also has a hole to hang it, whereas Lovevery's only has the stand. The next item in this play kit is the Things That Move memory game, just a matching game of 6 sets of vehicle themed cards. And I would say this item is okay. I have always DIY'd matching cards since my daughter was like a year old. For her, matching cards, nothing new. It kind of feels like a filler item, if I'm honest. We do get use out of it. She plays with it by herself. She plays with it with me, but it's definitely one of those items that kind of sits there a little bit more. As far as getting Amazon dupes for automobile matching sets, I found 3 that are pretty good. I do like, however, I will say that they put it in a nice little carrying box this time, and it is easy enough for kids to get out by just pushing it, so it does encourage independent play, so that's nice. The next item are these jump in eco hoops and bean bags. I initially was kind of like disappointed just because I felt like we already had gotten bean bags from Lovevery in the past, and we have so many different items where she jumps in and out of, and these are just so easy to DIY that I was like, okay, this is kind of a dumb item to include. But I will say, we had, as a family, so much fun with these. And so what we were doing is we were coming up with different ways to play with it. We were pretending that these were steering wheels, or we were pretending that they were earrings. We were putting it around our neck, trying to hula hoop, or around our arm. So my daughter's small enough where she put it around her waist, and we were trying to teach her how to hula hoop that way. What I ended up finding was that we really liked these mini kind of hula hoops because they gave us so many different ways to play with them beyond just jumping in and out of colored circles. So these definitely flex the creativity. Great open-ended item, and I ended up going from super skeptical to being a really big fan of it. As far as Amazon dupes go, there is a set of just rings and bean bags. However, if I was buying this separately on my own, that is not the one I would get. Instead, I would get this one. Instead of just getting rings and bean bags though, you also get cones. Now at our park, they've been doing some construction and they have cones, and they are literally my daughter's favorite thing at the park for months. The babysitter is like, she's obsessed with these cones. Does not care about the slide, does not care about the swings, just loves cones. The next item in this play kit is the play date book. This book is great if your child is shy or nervous about a play date or has difficulty sharing. If you watched my video about things to avoid when selecting books for toddlers, you know I'm very hesitant to introduce any type of book that teaches or assigns value to an experience that could influence my toddler's own experience with it. So since my daughter's never been nervous about going to people's homes and she's never had a hard time sharing nor been too upset if somebody has had a hard time sharing with her, this book is currently sitting on our bookshelf. I have not read it to her. This is one of those books that if a problem comes up in this arena, I will absolutely pull it out. It is a great book in that sense, but I think it can create a chicken and an egg situation and cause some problems for some kids. So be mindful of that and definitely go back and watch that video for way more detail. I didn't find any Montessori aligned books that are quite like Lovevery's that feature real kids. I did find this book called I Share that is $9. It's all about being kind and generous and really teaches sharing in a Montessori type of way as far as being part of a community. And of course, just like every one of Lovevery's play kits, this comes with a play guide explaining all the items as well as some additional activities you can do at home, full of all of the research from the experts, kind of walking you through what's happening with your child developmentally at this stage. If you were to purchase every single one of these Amazon dupes, you're looking at right around $120, which is the cost of this play kit. So financially speaking, it's kind of a break-even point, which then leads me to the qualitative worth it experience. How much my toddler actually liked the items that can't be measured by money. There were some major winners in this play kit. The timer, the peg puzzle, the hammering thing, as well as the beanbags and rings were all super successful items that my daughter has been playing with now for months, has kept her engaged. Overall, all of them support independent play as well as collaborative play. So those 4 items were huge wins in my book. I do think we will get a ton more use out of the lab in a few years, but like I said, right now it's kind of one of those items that is a little underwhelming. It's not bad by any means. When we do take it out and set it up, we are getting use out of it, but it takes up quite a bit of counter space and is something that it is going to require you to be there with them. So not so much an independent play activity. My personal experience, do I think this one was worth it? I think it was worth it for us, but I think this one is definitely not necessarily a no-brainer for all families, and you kind of have to look at the ages of your kids. Like if I had a 5-year-old, a 2.5-year-old that was getting this play kit and a baby, 100% I would get this because I know that 5-year-old will use that lab item and some of the other ones in here. If I just have 1 kid, 2.5, I don't plan on having any more kids, I might get the Amazon dupes for just those 4 really awesome items that I mentioned. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it, and hit that notification and subscribe button so you don't miss more Lovevery play kit reviews. And if you guys want, make sure to go back, check out those past Lovevery play kit reviews, check out my toddler activity videos, which I'll leave a link to in the playlist below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to hit me up on Instagram at @theconfusedmillennial. My name's Rachel. Have a good one.